What is going on, everybody? Welcome to the Young Brother of Soul podcast show. And guess what? It is me, your guy, the Young Brother of Soul. Now, I know it's been a long time since I posted an episode on the Young Brother of Soul podcast show. Well, I'm going to give you a reason why. The reason why I haven't posted an episode in a while is because last week, my daughter and her cheerleading team, well, put it this way, the Oakland Wildcats made it to Nationals. We were in Florida, Orlando, Florida, which the weather was so much better than it is in Philadelphia. Well, it's winter time, so yeah. Well, anyway, I just want to give a shout out to the Oakland Wildcats, to the cheerleading squad, to all the young ladies out there. I am very proud of y'all. Y'all did y'all best. Y'all did y'all thing. And guess what? Don't let nothing or nobody stop you. We'll be back. We'll be back. And the Eagles, well, just make sure y'all catch up on the last two episodes that I did about the Eagles. I really don't have nothing much to say about them right now because they better win these last couple games. They better win because if not, they are done. Done. You hear me? But yes, shout out to the Oakland Wildcats. I'm very proud of y'all. Like I said, keep up the good work. Don't let nothing or nobody stop you from doing what's best for you. And to the coaches, to all the coaches of the Wildcats, y'all done a great job as coaches. Keep up the good work. And like I said, we'll be back. We'll be back. And I can't wait. So, on today's episode of the Young Brother of Soul podcast show, what I'm going to be talking about is NBA teams that relocated. Now, I already did an episode on NFL teams that relocated. Well, yeah, make sure y'all catch up on that, please. And the reason why, in sports, period, but the reason why NBA teams relocated, because that's what we're talking about, the NBA, of course, they relocate to different cities because financial reasons, bigger markets, which means bigger cities, better arena deals, just like a stadium. Stronger fan support. You have to have a strong fan support in order for your team to stay in that city. And of course, low attendance. Well, there's quite a few teams on here that left because of low attendance. And believe it or not, when teams relocate to another city, that is one of the most hurtful things that a fan can go through. Yeah, very hurtful. And believe it or not, all the years that you've been in that city, then you relocate to another one. Well, all I can say is hopefully that won't happen to my hometown basketball team, the Philadelphia 76ers. Well, you know what? We're going to go into that a little bit later. As of right now, let's start off with the list. The first team, well, before we go on with the first team, I just want to let y'all know that the NBA actually debuted on June 6, 1946. Now, believe it or not, the NBA was the last out of the four major sports to debut. You already had baseball, which has been out since the 1800s. Then you had hockey. Yeah, hockey's been out for a very long time. And of course, you had the NFL. Then the NBA came. So, believe it or not, each sport is very popular. But one was so popular back in the day, but we just going to leave it at that. But yeah, the NBA debuted June 6, 1946. Yeah, yeah. Then, of course, you had the BBA and the MBL and other basketball associations, but we just going to leave it at that. If y'all know what I'm talking about, make sure y'all leave a comment, okay? So, our first team that relocated to another city is, the Tri-City Hawks to the city of Milwaukee. Now, the Tri-City Hawks, well, we're going to talk about the Hawks a little later. They actually debuted in 1949. and they played in the city of Tri City. Believe it or not, I don't have that much information. If you know about it, leave a comment. They only played for like 3 seasons from 1949 to 1951. Yeah. That is until they relocated to the city of Milwaukee in 1951. Now, the reason why they relocated is because of a small city. Well, then again, Tri City, yeah, that sounds like a small city compared to the city of Milwaukee. Yeah. Hmm. Believe it or not, Milwaukee had an NBA team before the Milwaukee Bucks, but we're just going to leave it at that. Another team that relocated in the NBA is, the Fort Wayne Pistons to the city of Detroit. Now, believe it or not, the Pistons actually used to play in the city of Fort Wayne, which is a city in Indiana. But of course, it's not as big as Indianapolis. But we just gonna leave it at that. But let me stop playing. They actually debuted in 1948, and believe it or not, they played in Fort Wayne quite a few years. They did play in the NBA Finals, which they lost, but that is until the year 1957, where they relocated to the city of Detroit, which they have been there ever since. And when they moved to Detroit, well, years later, they have won 3 NBA Finals. So yeah, give it to the Pistons. But believe it or not, yes, Fort Wayne is definitely not a bigger city compared to the city of Detroit. Come on now, we already know the city of Detroit is way bigger than Fort Wayne. Yeah, yeah. But that's quite amazing that the Pistons used to play in a different city. So we're just gonna leave it at that. Yeah. Hmm. Another team that relocated. Well, this team actually relocated quite a few times, but we're going to talk about them a little later. But as of right now, we're going to talk about them right now, and that is the Rochester Royals to the city of Cincinnati. Now, the Rochester Royals actually debuted in 1948. And believe it or not, they actually won an NBA Finals in 1951. Well, they didn't stay in Rochester that long. Well, Rochester is upstate New York, if y'all don't know. They would relocate to the city of Cincinnati in 1957. Now, the reason why they moved is because of lock profitability. Yeah, believe it or not. I believe Cincinnati is a way bigger city than Rochester. Yeah, believe it or not, the city of Cincinnati had an NBA team. Yeah, yeah. We're going to talk about that a little later too. Cities that need an NBA team. Work with me, y'all. Work with me. So, yeah, lack of profitability, and yeah, Rochester is definitely a small city compared to the city of Cincinnati, and low attendance. Yeah, believe it or not, even though they won a NBA Finals in 1951. Yeah, well, we're just gonna leave it at that. Another team that relocated is the Minneapolis Lakers to the city of Los Angeles. Now, believe it or not, the Lakers actually used to play in the city of Minneapolis, Minnesota, Indianapolis, Indiana. So we just gonna get that straight. They actually debuted in 1948. Well, believe it or not, the Lakers were the first team in the NBA. Well, not just first team, first dynasty in the NBA. They won 5 NBA championships in the city of Minneapolis. Well, believe it or not, after they won those 5 NBA championships, their attendance were very low. Their attendance was so low, and they were doing so bad at one point, they had to ask their legendary center, George Mikan, to come out of retirement, which he did, I believe, for one season. Well, he retired because of, I believe it was injuries. He was a big dude. He was 6'10". But he was a heck of a center for the Lakers before they had Kareem Abdul-Jabbar and Shaq. But yeah, they had to ask him to come out of retirement. That's how bad it was. Well, believe it or not, it was so bad that they had to relocate. In the year 1960, that's when the Lakers moved to Los Angeles. And believe it or not, they will win more championships. 12 of them. Yeah, the Lakers. Yeah, we're just going to leave it at that. Always in the finals. Them and the Celtics. But we already talked about that. But yeah, and they have remained in the city of Los Angeles ever since. I mean, they won 12 more championships in LA. I mean, where do they plan on going? Yeah. hmm The city of Minneapolis. And believe it or not, Minnesota Timberwolves were not the first NBA team in the state of Minnesota. Yeah. So moving on. Another team that relocated is the Philadelphia Warriors to the city of San Francisco. Now, believe it or not, the Warriors used to play in the city of Philadelphia. They debuted in 1946, and while they were in the city of Philadelphia, they actually won two NBA championships. And not only that, the Warriors were the first NBA team to win an NBA Finals. Well, things would change. In 1962, the Warriors were relocated to the city of San Francisco. The reason why they relocated is because the team was sold to the San Francisco owners. Now, believe it or not, they have been in San Francisco. Well, how can I say this? They went from San Francisco to Oakland and back to San Francisco. But believe it or not, they actually won five more championships since they relocated to San Francisco. Yeah, yeah. Can you imagine if the Warriors would have never left Philadelphia? Can you imagine if the Lakers would have never left Minneapolis? I think that would have been a great different history in the NBA, of course. Yeah. There's a reason why things happen, I guess. Another team that we relocate is the Syracuse Nationals to the city of Philadelphia. Now, believe it or not, the Syracuse Nationals, okay, Syracuse, Rochester, upstate New York, y'all. Y'all should know this. They debuted in 1949. And believe it or not, they actually won the NBA Finals in 1955. Well, they didn't stay there much. They didn't stay in Syracuse that long because in the year of 1963, the Syracuse Nationals will relocate to the city of Philadelphia. Believe it or not, the reason why they relocated to the city of Philadelphia is because of financial reasons, money wise. It's always about money, yeah. And they demanded that Philadelphia have a basketball team after the Warriors won. Well, the Philadelphia 76ers have been in Philadelphia ever since 1963, which they won two NBA championships. It's time for another NBA championship in the city of Philadelphia, but we'll talk about that another time. But yeah, that is the reason why Syracuse Nationals relocated to Philadelphia. Another team that relocated, which we're going to talk about again, is the St. Louis Hawks to the city of Atlanta. Now, believe it or not, the St. Louis Hawks actually won the NBA Finals in 1958. They were the first team to defeat the Boston Celtics in the NBA Finals, during that era. The Boston Celtics dynasty. We're just going to leave it at that. But they would not stay in St. Louis that long. That is until the year 1968, which they relocated to Atlanta. The reason why they relocated is because they were sold to Atlanta's owner. Believe it or not, the Hawks have been in Atlanta since 1968. Now, of course, they haven't won an NBA championship in Atlanta, but they made it to the playoffs quite a few times. But yeah, they only have one championship. And yeah, that's the reason why they moved, because they were sold to the owner of Atlanta. believe it or not, yeah, the city of St. Louis actually had a NBA team. So, like I said, we're going to talk about that a little later. Another NBA team, well, ABA, that relocated is, ha 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 ha, the New Jersey Americans to New York. Okay, the Nets. Okay, all right. They actually debuted in 1967 from the ABA, and they were moved to New York, where they became the New York Nets in 1968. Well, the reason why they relocated is because of overbooked play location. Hmm. How can I say this? Newark, New Jersey, North Jersey, New York. It's a very busy location. You get what I'm saying? Yeah, very busy location. Yeah, we're just gonna leave it at that. Another team that will relocate is, haha, the San Diego Rockets to the city of Houston. Now, believe it or not, the Rockets actually played in the city of San Diego, which they debuted in 1967. Well, they didn't stay there that long. They only stayed for like 3 or 4 seasons. They were moved to Houston in 1971. The reason why they moved to Houston is because of poor attendance and financial struggles. And not only that, of course, we all know the city of Houston is a way bigger city than the city of San Diego. But believe it or not, the Rockets will remain in the city of Houston ever since 1971, which they won 2 NBA championships. So, yeah. Yeah. Houston's a way bigger city than San Diego. Everybody knows that. And yeah, San Diego had an NBA team. Poor San Diego fans. Why do y'all go through so much location? Another team that relocated was, boy, the Cincinnati Royals to Kansas City, Omaha, which they would change their name to the Kings. Now, believe it or not, the Cincinnati Royals played from 1957 till they relocated to Kansas City, Omaha, Nebraska in 1972. But the reason why they changed it to the Kansas City Kings from 72 to 75 is because all the games were played in the city of Kansas City. So, yeah, that's the reason why they relocated. But, you know, Cincinnati probably financial reason wise too. But yeah, yeah. Kansas City, Omaha Kings. Wow, that is crazy. Financial reasons, low attendance. So yeah. Hmm. Another team that we relocate, the New York Nets to New Jersey. Now the New York Nets actually debuted in 1968. They will relocate to New Jersey in 1977. The reason why is because of the ABA merger, which you had the NBA and the ABA. And there were poor attendance for the New York Nets. And not only that, the New York Knicks, who were already there in New York, actually got tired of sharing Madison Square Garden with the Nets. So, yeah. I would feel the same way too. Like, we was already here first. Why are we sharing our arena with you? You know? Bye. Well, they relocated to New Jersey in 1977, which they've been to 2 NBA finals, which they both lost. But hey, at least they made it. Those were the good old days with the New Jersey Nets. I remember that team. We're going to talk about them a little later. And another team that would relocate is, the Buffalo Braves to San Diego, which they would change their name to the Clippers. Now, believe it or not, the Buffalo Braves debuted in 1970. Yeah, the city of Buffalo had an NBA team. Well, they were moved to San Diego in 1978. The reason why they moved is because owners swap teams. Like I said, in sports, I didn't know owners can swap teams. That I didn't think that would actually happen. So I actually did forgot the owners' names, but if y'all know the owners of that swap these teams, leave a comment, let me know. But yeah, that is the reason why they moved to San Diego in 1978. So San Diego actually had two NBA teams. Well, like I said, poor San Diego fans. Another team that will relocate is, the New Orleans Jazz to Utah. Now, believe it or not, the Jazz actually started in New Orleans, which they debuted in 1974. Well, they didn't stay in New Orleans that long. They stayed for like at least 5 or 6 seasons. And the reason why they moved is financially struggles. Can you imagine if the Jazz would have never left New Orleans? Yeah, they named the Jazz because of New Orleans jazz musicians. They do a lot of jazz down in New Orleans. But they would remain in the city, well, state of Utah since 1979, in which they've been to two NBA finals, which they both lost. But yeah, they've been in Utah ever since. Mm. Another team that we relocate is the San Diego Clippers to the city of LA. LA already, so they were in San Diego in 1978 and they would relocate to LA in 1984. Owner then Donald Sterling moved the team because he wanted a bigger market. Everybody knows the city of LA is a way bigger city than San Diego. But a lot of people question that because LA already had a basketball team, and that's the Lakers. What they need another team for? Well, they did play in the same arena as the Lakers, but the Clippers did get their own arena, so we're just gonna leave it at that. They will remain in the city of LA ever since 1984, and they have not won a championship. Yeah, no. Excuse me, no. Another team that relocated. Oh boy, the Vancouver Grizzlies to Memphis. Now, the Vancouver Grizzlies actually debuted in 1995. They were one of the two NBA teams that were granted in this Canada. You had the Grizzlies, who represented, I believe, the Western Conference, and then you had the Raptors, who represented the Eastern Conference. The Vancouver Grizzlies, they were horrible. Okay, they were moved to Memphis in the year 2001. Believe it or not, the reason why they moved to Memphis is because of losing season. They lost a lot of games. Yeah, that's how bad they were. And not only that, they were low fan attendance. I mean, they lost so much, fans just stopped going to the games. I mean, that's how bad they were. I mean, I wouldn't even go to a Vancouver Grizzly game. That's how. Well, they will remain in the city of Memphis since 2001. They haven't won an NBA championship, though, but they've been to quite a few Western Conference finals. Yeah, Vancouver Grizzlies, boy. Can you imagine if they would have never moved? Oh, then again, yeah, they definitely would have moved because nobody was going to go see them play. Another team that relocated is the Charlotte Hornets to the city of New Orleans. Now, believe it or not, this is not the same Charlotte Hornets though, but the Charlotte Hornets actually debuted in the league in 1988. I actually like the old logo better than the new one. Well, they would relocate to the city of New Orleans in the year 2002 because owner at the time, George Strines, if I'm pronouncing his name right, couldn't get a new arena deal. Believe it or not, all sports teams need new arenas because some of them are old, they're falling apart, and it's also for the safety of the players and the fans. Well, believe it or not, the New Orleans Hornets, well, they actually changed their name to the New Orleans Pelicans. Yeah, that's the state bird. I don't know. They would remain in the city of New Orleans ever since. But Charlotte did get another team, the Bobcats, who were even worse. Then they would be renamed the Charlotte Bobcats. Yeah. Another team that relocated. I was shocked at the time about this relocation. I could not believe it. And that is the Seattle Supersonics to Oklahoma City, which they changed their name to the Thunder. Believe it or not, the Supersonics actually debuted in the year 1967. They did win an NBA championship in 1979. Well, yeah, that they would relocate, move to OKC in the year 2008. And believe it or not, when Kevin Durant debuted in the NBA, they were still the Supersonics. Mm, 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 mm. Another team that relocated, the Baltimore Bullets to Washington, D.C., where they became the Capitol Bullets, the Washington Bullets, and then again they changed their name to the Washington Wizards. Now, the Baltimore Bullets actually debuted in 1963. These are not the same Baltimore Bullets that won the 1948 NBA Finals, but I would give that NBA championship to the Washington Wizards. Like, come on. The reason why they would relocate to Washington, D.C. in 1973 is because the owner felt that the D.C. metropolitan area was a way bigger city than Baltimore. Yeah, Baltimore had two NBA teams. And from what I'm not mistaken, is it true that next season that Baltimore is getting a NBA team? Correct me if I'm wrong. Leave a comment. Yeah. Another team that relocated. Well, this is the most relocation recent. The New Jersey Nets to the city of Brooklyn. Yeah, they went from New Jersey, New York, New Jersey, New York. Yeah, that is so weird, but it is what it is. They actually stayed in New Jersey in 1977. Like I said earlier, they went to two NBA finals. But I also forgot to mention they did win two NBA. No, not NBA. I'm sorry. ABA championships. Yeah, they did. Well, in 2012, the Nets will relocate to the city of Brooklyn. The reason why they relocated is because the owner, well, felt that the popularity of the city of Brooklyn, and not only that, the last years of the New Jersey Nets, they were horrible. I mean, they were horrible. They, I believe, one year they went 0-18. Like in the NBA, how is that even possible? Hey, but anything's possible. That is the last, most recent team that relocated. But here's a specialty: the New Orleans Hornets. You know, they played in 2002 to 2005. They will relocate to the city of OKC, which they became the OKC Hornets. The reason why in 2005 is because of Hurricane Katrina. Well, we already know what happened after Hurricane Katrina. The city of New Orleans was messed up. It's been 20 years. And believe it or not, I heard that the city of New Orleans is still messed up after Hurricane Katrina, which is a very sad situation. Oh boy. And another special relocation is the Toronto Raptors to the city of Tampa Bay. The Raptors debuted in 1995. But the reason why they relocated to Tampa Bay in 2020 is because of COVID 19. 2020, oof, man, what a year 2020 was. But yeah, it was because of COVID restrictions. So yeah, well, that is all your NBA teams that relocate. And believe it or not, cities that need NBA teams, ha. Of course, I did hear Baltimore's getting one. So, like I said, correct me if I'm wrong. Cincinnati needs one. St. Louis, Pittsburgh. hmm Those cities need NBA teams. Seattle. I met a married couple, and they were from Seattle. And the lady said her husband does not watch the NBA until the NBA comes back to the city of Seattle, which I believe they will. It'll be the Seattle Supersonics again. Fans in Seattle were hurt when the Supersonics left to go to OKC. That championship, like I said, belongs to Seattle. And the one in 2025, that belongs to OKC. So, yeah, there you go. So, like I said, those are your NBA teams that relocated. Now, before we end this video, make sure y'all hit that subscribe button, hit that thumbs up, leave a comment, and hit that notification button. And thank you for tuning in to episode of the Young Brother of Soul podcast show. Make sure y'all tune in for new episodes and make sure y'all catch up on the old ones. And I also want to say thank you and enjoy the rest of your night. Thank you.